Okay, greetings everyone. Welcome to Gerard, Black in the Philippines with the Truth. I'm going to welcome you to my channel. I'm going to welcome all my subscribers, all my future subscribers, all my haters, lovers, peaches, triggers, all my scallywags, all my commenters. Each and every one of you are special to me, and I'm happy that you have taken this time to check me out. You know, my commitment to show you living inside a culture has never wavered. And what I have for you today is that you've seen her on my channel before. You know, she's my long lost niece, I call her. And matter of fact, you watched her grow up on my channel. And I want her to actually try to get as deep a detail of what it's like growing up as a Filipino girl, a Filipino child, into womanhood, because that's what she is now. She's growing up into a lady. So I want her to really give you a breakdown on her upbringing, some of the trials and tribulations that she's gone through, you know, some of the things that she had to overcome, and how it has not broken her, but only made her stronger. It's just like the old cliche, if it don't kill you, it only makes you stronger. So right now, I'm going to introduce you to Jillian. Jillian, come out here. Hello, Jillian. How are you?
I'm fine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this on her, and so this way you can hear what she's saying. I think I speak loud enough that you can hear me, and her, not so much, because I'm voice. Okay, so Jillian, tell everybody who you are.
I'll tell them. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Gian Gracie Gomez. You have seen me in some past videos of Uncle Onyx before, and I'm already 18. I'm in 11th grade, and my strand is Humanities and Social Science, and my talents are singing, and I do guitars. I play guitar sometimes, and I'm really a sporty person. I don't look like it, but I'm really into sports. I have 3 sports: volleyball, frisbee, and soccer. And I also play board games. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Boy, I don't need to ask her nothing else. She done laid it all out just like that fast. So what is the earliest memories that you remember coming up as a child, Julia?
Yeah, when like a memory, random memory.
Yeah, random. When you were young, how far does your memory go back?
From grade 2.
Okay, tell her what it was like. Who did you live with?
I lived when I was a child. Maybe when I was daycare, I started. I already learned how to read when I was in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, who taught you to read? They taught you great and daycare.
No, I learned it from singing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why I say karaoke. I think is the way they learn how to read. Go ahead.
I also watch animes, like there's subtitles in below. That's why I learned fast. And yeah, when I was in daycare, I was with my mommy. She is a lola of mine, but she isn't related. She doesn't have any child. Like, she is the sister of my father's mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a child, who were you living with when you were in grade 2? Do you remember who you were living with?
Yeah, I was living with my mommy.
Okay, no brothers and no sisters?
No.
Okay, so as you got older, say like high school, or tell us about Filipino life. I mean, did you always, a lot of people out there think that Philippines is a third world country, and it's a very poor country. A lot of people don't eat every day. A lot of people don't work every day. All the men drink all day. Tell us what part of those scenarios are true or false as far as in your life?
Yeah, compare if you compare Philippines to other places, maybe Philippines is a poor country, but we don't eat only 3 meals a day. We eat five, usually six. Yeah, because we eat in the morning and mid of morning, like we get breakfast in 7. We eat again in 10, and lunch, and then in 3 p.m. and then dinner. Yeah, sometimes we eat also at 12 at night.
Wow.
Yeah,
And the main course is
yeah. I don't know what.
rice.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, so now you're at home. So when I met you, you were in Bacon,
yeah.
and I'm a friend of her husband's. Boom, boom. You've had him on. He was in one of my earlier shows. Here it is. I'm my brother's keeper, and they lived in Bacon, and it was very sparse. Tell us about how your life was there, because like you were living
Okay.
actually in just a concrete square.
Yeah.
There wasn't any amenities. There wasn't nothing there. I mean, talk about that, because that has to be, a dark space in your life at that time.
Yeah, it's very dark space because I started living there when my mommy died. It was 2016, and I can't go to my Lola side, and I can't go. I can't choose between my Lola and my mother, because I really need to go with my mother. And that time they were very they don't get well with my father and the side of my Lola, so I stayed with my mother, and we stayed there in Bakong, Lutao, and that house is like filled with sadness, misery, no positive vibes, I guess, because all the peoples there were toxic, and me as a child growing up, I didn't grow with my mother and my father. I grow with my Lola. So I felt some positives, but in that house it's very it feels misery, sad. It's like hell, because my father and my mother always fight and break some things in the house. That's why it's all concrete and just foam concrete like that. There's no other things you can see from that house.
Well, when I met Boom Boom, Boom Boom was a cat who I met when I would play tennis, and I would stop in the fish market, and him and I, we would get a small bottle of Tanqueray. I would give him cigarettes, and then we would sit there. He had a little daughter named Prince. How's Princess,
Yeah,
by the way? She's good.
yeah, she's good.
She,
She's she's very tall,
she's very tall.
and her hair is
Wow, I gotta see a picture of her. And you just told me that she's learning how to play the piano.
yeah,
Wow. So anyway, I used to stop by and see him and his Boom Boom's daughter, and what happened was that Boom Boom was in a bike accident with one of his friends. I don't know. I think he was driving drunk or something like this, and he was killed. And Boom Boom had a very bad facial injury.
yeah,
Knocked out his teeth and all this stuff, and he was not able to work.
yeah,
So as a result of him not being able to work, I would stop by. I would try to stop by often, if it was once a week, every 2 weeks, or whatever it was. But whenever I stopped by, I would stop by and bring them food, because I know he didn't have any means of supporting himself. At that time, you had about
many 7 maybe, I guess. No, 6. Yeah,
6 what?
we're 6 in all.
Six in all, and
Little,
it was, they were running around, and sometimes Jillian would. Whenever I get a text from them, I knew that things were dire, and I knew that it was, I've been away too long and had to stop by and see them, and I would stop by 7-Eleven and buy what we call a care package, food for them to eat and everything. But then, and it was funny because, once upon a time I saw your brother, who was 6 years old,
yeah,
and he was at 7-Eleven parking bikes.
yeah,
Yeah, parking. Imagine 6 years old, and he's parking bikes to get money, so this way, he could buy some rice, because buy rice and bring home. So it was a very dark part in Jillian's growing up, and finally, they had made a decision to move you to where?
Mindanao.
to Mindanao.
Yeah, because I stopped education. I stopped going to school in pandemic, so I asked my mother, and there was no support in Bakong because my father was only working for in the fish market, and it's not very it can hold the budget for education and all. So I asked my mother that can I go to Mindanao? I want to study, and she let me go to Mindanao. Yeah,
And I also want to say that Jillian was, you know, she is, a very talented young lady. And not only that, she was writing. She was writing poetry. She was at the time, coming into a womanhood where I guess she was having emotions and feelings and
yeah,
wanted to care about someone and people. And so, it was, it was very inspiring and very, moving to see this diamond in the rough amongst, what was going on around her. So you moved to Mindanao. How was it living in Mindanao?
at first it was okay, like it was fine, all was healthy like that. But when it was in the mid year of living there, it was like my mother is very strict, and she has this stepfather who doesn't like me because my mother there is like she's very financially stable, and my stepfather doesn't want us to get some because they have their own child. So like my stepfather makes some mistakes that I didn't make and tell them to my mother, so that my image to my the image of me to my mother will get broken, and my mother would get mad at me most of the time. They doesn't support me in my sports, but I have very good grades. I moved up in grade 11 in senior high. Like I have an average of 94%.
That's very good. Very, very good. Boom Boom is what happens a lot of times in the Philippines. A lot of Filipinos own land, have a lot of land, it's because it's generational wealth. And I know at one point in time, Boom Boom had, I think his mother was dying or something like this, or someone in the family was dying, and
Yeah.
he had to go to Cebu because it was going to be a division of the land. Each kid get this, each kid get this, get this. But because of the hostility that your family had toward him, he was not giving anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because some not all, but some they look down on people that has no power, or because here some not all, in the Philippines, if you have money you have power, if you don't have money you don't have power. So they look at my father, and my father is like, he doesn't have anything, he doesn't own anything. He gets his salary is like 250 a day, and his family doesn't look at him powerful, they look at him powerless. So even if he doesn't get some of his share from that land, Papa Boom Boom cannot do anything about it because he cannot sue them.
yeah.
Yeah, he cannot sue them. So it's okay if they just let him be not getting anything.
Yeah, well, it's not okay, but it happens, and and I guess like in the U.S., if a lot of us may go to the extreme, or not extreme, but the avenue of contesting, some type of division of personal property left by a loved one. Okay, so